that are waiting there that want that, you've got a pretty successful model. So let's talk about content. What does Life Leadership offer us as far as content? Well, content, we have 8 different F's that we kind of talked about, 8 different categories. You got stuff if you want to work on relationships for marriage, if you want to work on your faith and you want to make your spiritual walk stronger, they have that. They have the finance information, which that's what I dove into first because I really, I viewed it, if I had it going on as a business person, why was I in the situation that I was in? At the time they showed me this, I was looking for answers because what TJ had been doing in his life and in his business for 20-something years, I'm in a pickle. Why am I in this bad situation? Well, it's because the information that I was going on was back at college. Because I hadn't read a book, hadn't really learned or studied anything new since college. Because I vowed when I graduated from college I didn't need to read any more books. Things changed. So I picked up a finance pack and read The Richest Man in Babylon, a very short book, and discovered, wow, there's some things that I'd forgotten about. Spend less than you make, novel concept, don't use credit, save some money, always have some seed money sitting aside. But here in the Life, you have a little bit of everything. You've got leadership stuff, we've got freedom stuff that we can go into on the subscription to freedom, because we really feel that some of our freedoms are going away because we don't know what freedoms are. And we're raising a generation to come up that take for granted the freedoms that we have. So this is kind of helping that. Friends, we have stuff on that. So we have a little bit of everything for somebody, regardless of what they're looking for. Then the next piece is the commerce piece, okay? And here I go into the content a little bit further. This shows some of the content. These are our different subscriptions that we have. We have an AGO subscription, which is space-based. We have teenage and young people, or people that are young at heart, that like a CD. This is 1 CD a month that comes out. Our Freedom series, we just mentioned, it's 1 CD as well. And then we have these 2 over here, which are our Life, which is a $50 a month subscription. You have 4 audio CDs and a book each month. And my personal favorite, next to the Edge, is the Leadership one, which is a book on leadership each month, and then 4 audio CDs as well. And the cool thing about the AGO series, Orrin and Chris Brady, when they started in this business, they wrote a book. Actually, it wasn't a book. It was a manual and on launching a leadership revolution. They wrote it, and it became successful within the community, and it started generating income. Well, they never wrote it to generate money. So they started a charity called All Grace Outreach, and all the proceeds went to that. And an interesting thing with that, I'll get in here to the commerce piece, which is the next piece. They wrote that book, Launching a Leadership Revolution. And when they first started out, they self-published it. And like I said, it was just to pass out to people, and it generated money, so they gave all their proceeds to AGO. And that started, which is for widows and orphans, and they helped them. And it became very successful, and one of the people associated with Life Leadership saw the book, loved the book, went to Time Warner. Time Warner then picks up the book and says, hey, you want us to publish your book for you? Well, yeah, of course. And next thing you know, within a couple of weeks, it became New York Times best-selling book, Launching Leadership Revolution. But an interesting thing happened. You know, the book that they were selling over here, I think they were selling it for like $15, I think is what they were selling it for at the time. Time Warner picks it up, and over here, they were making, I think it was $12, something like that per book. Well, when Time Warner got it and sold it for the same price down here, they were getting pennies, I think. They're getting less than $1, or was it less than $1, a couple of dollars?
22 cents.
22 cents, that's right, yeah. So they were making 22 cents per book versus 12. And the reason is because, you know, they got and published the book, but then Time Warner has to step on it. They've got people that they got to pay. They got lawyers they got to pay. They got wholesalers they got to pay. Region people, advertising and marketing people, legal people. So everybody has to get a little piece of the pie. By the time they get 22 cents. So there's a whole lot less money for AGO. But what the nice thing is, these leaders, these 2 guys, Chris and Orrin, sat down and said, as long as we have this book, all the proceeds go. So regardless of what we make or don't make, it all goes to AGO. So they don't get a penny for it. And this is how Life Leadership Group, they sat here and looked at this model and said, well, hey, if we can publish books and CDs over here, and we can cut out the middleman, we can save over 70%. And then that 70% of the money, because we can just go from our manufacturer over the internet direct to our customers into our community. We can cut out all the middlemen. So then that helps us to pay, the business to pay out 70% back out to its people, which is, that's how we can generate some income for us. Make sure I get my next little piece here. Okay, so here we covered the content. We talked about the commerce piece of it, where we get the 7% back. Now let's talk about the compensated community, because what we do, we talked about the 70% of the money comes back to us in the community. Okay, well, how are we going to make money that way? Well, the cool thing about it, when we have our subscription base, we can go up here, we can also, this is what Chris was looking at earlier, we have a 3 for free program. You get 3 customers in your subscription of the equal value. Like if you get a $50 a month subscription and you get 3 customers that are doing $50 a month, your subscription is free. At the same time, if you get a person that becomes a customer and they go out and they find 2 or 3 other people and they get 3 customers as well, their subscription is free. But if you're on the team and you've held a spot on the team, then you get all that volume flows right back up through you, and that's how we make money. And that kind of leads us into the compensated community. Now, these guys, Chris and Orrin, when they started going through this and they listened to Michael Dell and they talked about the cash flow quadrant, they knew they had to create a system. And what they did was they studied how people use the system in a franchise. And then they talked about the cash flow quadrant, learning what they were going to do, and they started studying, started back in 1999. So in 2011, 11/1/11, when they launched Life Leadership, Orrin came up, they came up with a great concept called this team approach. Together each achieves more. And the way that happens is that you join an existing team of people. You take this next spot right here that's available. And what happens is while you're checking out the information, you're reading, you're listening to CDs, and you're checking out the information, Chuck comes over here and he puts Betty down there. And Gary comes over here and puts another person down there. And Rachel comes over here and puts a person down here, one of her friends. And then I come up here and put another person. So while you're checking out, this team grows. And each one of these could be on different subscriptions. One may be on all 4, or all the different subscriptions. One may be on a $10 a month, one may be on a $50. They could generate $200 or $300 in volume. But all that flows right back up through you. And you get credit just like you signed them up, even though you don't even know who they are. And that's what's really cool, and that's called the team approach. And what we're looking for, Life Leadership, is finding people that are teachable, that are hungry and ambitious, that want to learn and grow. And as they learn and grow, we can teach them this system. We can generate a business and start a business for them while they're just learning. This is an apprenticeship. And the cool thing is, if you start over here, make sure I get my numbers right now. Go over here and do 13 and 7. Right? I think that's right. That's going to generate, you get 13, and the cool thing is you're finding 13 people on this team here that you and the team are finding. So you may only find a couple yourself. You're looking for people that want to get around the community, come to meetings, come to the seminars, and you do that 13 and 7. That's going to be $1,100 a month in income. And what we do is, when we do that, once you've learned this system down here and you actually help contribute to a couple of people down here as well, then we teach you to go out here and build another team. And the second team over here, we do the exact same thing we did over here. We repeat the thing. Make a list, contact the people, show the plan, get them to sign up, and when we get this down to 7, then that's $1,100 a month. Then you get these people, as you're growing this team here, you're looking for a couple that as well. And then they help you to continue to grow this team, and this team continues to grow, and you start your third team. And then it starts to generate a little bit more money. Then it's 33 and 17. Sorry, that's right. And that's where it gets to be a little bit more money. That's $3,500 a month. Income. I don't know about you, but $1,100 a month starts to help us to pay down some of our debt. And when we get to $3,500 a month, that starts to change people's lifestyles. It starts to affect the bottom line a little bit. And the really cool thing is then when you start getting this bigger team over here, I'm going to double check my numbers. Over here is 75, 50, and 75, 50, 17, 13. And that's 77. Come on. And this, right here, when you get to this first level right here, which can be in a few months, pretty quickly, because you're looking for 20 total people. And this right here, when you get this and you do that for 6 months in a row, you get a bonus and you also get a free trip. Which goes to, they have a 7-day cruise that you can go on the Oasis to see. That's what my wife is looking forward to. Then you can also go to Jamaica, and then they have one to Costa Rica, and they also have a trip to Disney World. In case you haven't had your fill of Disney World yet. So, which one would you like to go on?
I'd have to think about that.
Might not be Disney?
No.
You're safe here. You can...
No, might not be Disney.
It might not be Disney. When you get this over here, when you get down into here, then the trips actually expand. They go, there's a longer cruise. There's also Hawaii. They have, I think, a 7-day trip to Hawaii. And one of our mentors, Lyndon Bell, just got back from that several months ago, and they had a blast. And it's not, the cool thing about these trips, you're not going to a trip like a cruise, and they say, okay, now you've got a 2-hour seminar each day. You know,
Timeshare.
Yeah, like a timeshare. You're not doing that. It's your, you get to book it, they give you the money, and you contact a travel agent, and they set it all up, and you schedule and do your own thing. There's nobody there trying to sell you something or teach you something. You're out there just having fun. That's what's really cool about it. But here, some people can start to get free. This right here, I think, comes to, with the cash bonuses, right around $60,000 a year. So that starts to be a pretty good income. And again, this is systematic, ongoing income. So while you're still working your other jobs, that helps free up a little money, and you can definitely open a new business, you know, get your debt, and have the cash to do your own business, if you choose to do. You may say, hey, I want to keep building this, because the more wise and the stronger your relationships, the faster you can build a team. So how do you, one of the big things here now is, how do we get involved in this community? That's the big thing. A lot of people say that they're not salespeople. I always like to say, if you're married, or if you've been married, you were sales. I was in sales. Look at my wife. I'll kick my coverage, as you have heard. You know, I don't know anybody. If we just look at people's cell phones, their cell phones are packed with people. So everybody knows somebody. I don't think I can do this. Well, that's the kind of people actually we're looking for. Because I didn't get into this business to start talking to people, to get in front of people, or to work with people. I wanted to see if it was actually going to work. I wanted to see if Lyndon and Chris were actually going to build a business, team approach, under me and for me, while I sat there and checked out the material. And for 2 months, I didn't even open the material. In 2 months, they put people on my team,